Hey, it's been a while. Maybe we should talk about that. And in order for us to talk about that, we're also going to have to talk about Deltarune. So, for those of you who have not been to my channel before, welcome. My little Sketch With Me videos are completely unscripted videos of me just like drawing things in my sketchbook and rambling about art and that kind of thing. It's something for me to just do something for fun in between larger projects and that sort of thing. And if you have been at my channel for a very long time, you've probably seen that I haven't uploaded in a hot minute. I think the very last big project that I did do, in terms of like YouTube essays and stuff, was my video about Oxenfree. And then I finished up It Takes a Village, and then I proceeded to just kind of disappear for a little bit. And I kind of wanted to talk about that, and use it as an excuse to talk about Deltarune and to talk about inspiration and art and that kind of thing. So, I also do want to give everybody a warning that this video is going to contain full-on spoilers for Deltarune, chapters 1 through 4, just in its entirety. That's basically it, and like I said, these are unscripted. I will do my best to edit out all the ums and uhs and uhs or whatever, but I can't guarantee perfection here. So, I guess let's talk about Deltarune and why I've been gone for a long time. So a little while after I finished It Takes a Village, even before then, honestly, I've kind of been in a bit of a creative rut. It's not like I've been completely unable to draw. I've certainly gotten comic pages done, and I've gotten things done for projects like It Takes a Village, but I had run into a spot in my life where I felt like if I was not doing art that was somehow productive, then I was, like, wasting my time. Like, if I wasn't making a comic page, or working on something for my shop, or working on something for YouTube, then, like, I wasn't doing the right thing. Like, if for those who don't know, like, my biggest dream in my entire life has been able to be, like, a full-time artist, and I've had this really huge pressure on my back for a very long time about, like, not getting it done right and not getting it done correctly or quickly enough. At the time of me recording this, which is in 2025, I am 23 years old. It is kind of embarrassing to talk about this, but I'm actually a 5 times over college dropout. One of them was a community college that I went to during the pandemic. I dropped out because I had ADHD and a bunch of like personal stuff going on, so remote learning wasn't very great for me. And the other 4 times were different art schools. One of them was a school in the state that I live in currently, which I will not say for the sake of my privacy. But 3 of them were Savannah College of Art and Design, which was like my dream school, and I had to keep on dropping out because I just couldn't afford schooling. There was a lot going on with me, like, personally, with like my family and my financial situation and stuff, so I was kind of a lot on my own to figure that kind of thing out, and it just never panned out. But I was stubborn, so I kept reapplying and getting accepted and having to drop out for financial reasons, and reapplying and getting accepted and having to drop out for financial reasons. And it was a whole thing. Ever since I was like a teenager, I have very, very badly wanted to be somebody that just makes art full-time. I didn't care if I ended up as an animator, or if I was a comic artist, or if I was a storyboard artist, whatever it was, I just wanted to be able to make art with other people that would make an impact on somebody. Because the reason why I make art is obviously for my own joy, but also storytelling is very important to me as a person. It's a really big part of like how I understand who I am, because if it wasn't obvious by this entire channel, I'm actually on the autism spectrum. So storytelling and that kind of thing has really kind of been the main reason why I'm able to understand people. It gives me like a safe place to explore all these weird social cues and things about people that I don't really understand, and through that it also helped me understand a lot of things about myself. And I've always really wanted to do that for somebody. I've always wanted to make a piece of art that makes somebody feel seen, whether it be like a character looks a lot like them, or like something that a character has gone through, something that they can really relate to, like maybe they see themselves in the flaws of a character or something like that, and that brings them joy and comfort. I've always wanted to be able to do that for somebody, and that kind of pressure is on my back every single time I make a piece of art. And every single time I don't reach this arbitrary level of success that I've given myself, like, you know, having a successful YouTube channel, or having like hundreds of readers on my comic, or something like that. Just whatever it is. That pressure is always on my back, and it's like I've kind of convinced myself that if I am not making this art on time or correctly, or if it's not being seen by enough people, then I am inherently failing on my mission. And there's obviously a lot that goes into that. So for about, I want to say, 2 or 3 years now, I've been completely and utterly unable to draw for fun. Part of that is my workaholic tendencies, and I have absolutely gone through sprints where I've been able to draw for fun, but immediately after I burn out, and it's a whole thing. So, where the hell does Deltarune come in this? Well, I wonder if, like, maybe some of the things I've said in this video, if you yourself are an artist, might be something that you can relate to, right? You know, not to sound like a boomer, but a lot of us in the digital age kind of equate our value to numbers, and it's very easy to do that, and I don't want to take the route of shaming anybody for doing that, because that's something that I actually also do, but it's not a good habit, and we do have to find ways to break it. And I feel like probably the biggest way to do that is to return to why you make art in the first place, and why you find it so fun. Like, yes, there is that aspect of me that wants to make a piece of art that hopefully somebody else can see themselves in, but I think underneath that, the core of, like, the art that I create is, like, making art that I can see myself in. Like, a lot of the characters in my comics and that kind of thing are also neurodivergent. A lot of them are queer. A lot of them are queer men, specifically, you know, like gay men and trans men and that kind of thing. Just because I've always wanted to be able to see myself on a piece of, like, storytelling, and that's not, it's not really available in the way that I want it. So, I've found fun in, like, making a piece of art that I've wanted to make, like, indulging in tropes that I've enjoyed. Just full out, just self-indulgence, 24/7, be cringe, be free. Like, I think that you can see Gravity Falls' fingertips, like, all over my comic Tip the Ferryman. It's just all over it. Like, because it's one of my biggest inspirations, and it's one of my favorite TV shows of all time. So, well, okay, back to personal anecdotes to kind of get my point across here. Sometime earlier this year, I want to say, like, maybe in March, I started having a pretty bad episode that only just ended recently. I started having a very, very bad depression episode a bit before that, actually, but, like, it reached its high point during March and has only really started to slow down as of recent, and a lot of it was related to my creative struggles and how I kind of felt like a failure because I wasn't at the point in life as an artist, and in general, but as an artist, to stay on topic here, that I wanted to be at by the time that I had reached my age. Like I said, I dropped out of college 5 times, art school specifically, and it was tough. It was very, very tough. A lot of my friends were graduating college, both my friends that went to art school and friends that went to typical, like, community colleges or universities or something like that. And I was sitting there as a 5 times over dropout, not feeling like I had my shit together, like, at all. And, you know, I felt like I was supposed to be, by age 23, I was supposed to have graduated from SCAD. I was supposed to be, like, storyboarding for a show while, like, preparing to pitch my own, like, TV show or something like that. Like, I had this whole plan in my brain. I was gonna stay in Savannah, Georgia, and I was gonna work at Cartoon Network, and it was this whole plan, and of course none of that worked out. Like, I'm not anywhere near Georgia. I do not work for Cartoon Network, and I don't do animation. I do sometimes, like, for fun, but my primary passion and medium is, like, webcomics and comics in general. Also video games, but I refuse to learn how to code. I can do some web development coding, everything else is a nightmare, I refuse to do it. That just all tumbled down on me, and it just made it impossible to do art, and miserable to do art. And halfway through that episode, I think I want to say, like, back in May, I said, okay, enough is enough. I need to sit down, I need to, like, reflect on all of this, I need to figure out, like, what brings me joy, what do I find inspiration in. So I did, like, a re-binge of Gravity Falls, and I started watching Twin Peaks recently. Do not spoil it for me. I haven't finished Season 2 yet. Yes, I know who killed Laura Palmer. I have gotten to that part. Everything else, though, don't you fucking dare. But I think it was, God, when did Deltarune come out? I want to say, like, July or June. I think June. Well, Deltarune had come out, and everybody was talking about it, like, constantly. I did blacklist it on Tumblr and stuff just so I wouldn't get spoiled, because I did care about playing it eventually, but my big, sinful, like, autistic nerd secret is that I've actually been dragging my feet on Deltarune for years. I do remember that I did play Chapter 1 whenever it initially dropped, but I don't remember any of it, largely because I was a teenager whenever it came out, and I was disassociating all throughout my childhood, and I'm not saying disassociate in like a quirky Twitter user who just means zoning out kind of way. No, like actual like medical disassociation. It was bad, 24/7, so I don't remember any of it other than like the key points, and I played 5 minutes of Chapter 2 and gave up and never played it again. Then Chapter 3 and 4 came out this year, and all my friends were talking about it. People were, like, so excited. My fiancée, Celine, was just overjoyed about it, just talking about it constantly. She started making, like, plushies for it. By the way, shameless promo, Celine makes these really, really cute, like, crocheted Deltarune plushies. You should go buy them. Link in the description. It's called Celesta Stitchel, and it's adorable. Anyway, so I said, okay, screw it. I'm off of work for a couple of days. I'm gonna sit down, and I'm gonna play Deltarune. I got it for the Switch, and I sat down and I played it, and the experience that I had is nothing short of magical. Undertale was a game that had a lot of impact on me as a child. It was my first ever time, like, seeing a trans man in media specifically. They had certainly existed, like, within fandom, but if you don't know, Mettaton is, like, canonically transgender, or at the very least, like, it's heavily implied. It's very, very easy to read his story as one of, like, a trans man coming to terms with, like, who he is as a person and that kind of thing. So Deltarune had that really big impact on me for reasons I'm sure you can interpret. And just the way that it told its story and the obvious passion that Toby and Temmie Chang had put into, like, the whole story and the characters and the soundtrack, like, I was so obsessed with the repetition of the motifs and that sort of thing. His theme still makes me sob my eyes out to this day. I don't remember a lot of my childhood, but I do remember how I felt during Asriel's boss fight. I remember feeling my heart swelling, and I remember just sitting there thinking, it's going to be okay. We're going to save you, Asriel. We're going to save you. And I never thought that I would feel that way again. I never thought that I would ever have a piece of art that just, like, impacted me as heavily as Undertale did. I thought it was never going to happen. I thought it was a one-time experience, and I frequently mourn the fact that I will never get to experience Undertale for the first time ever again. But I don't want to say Deltarune was like experiencing Undertale for the first time again. Deltarune was like experiencing Deltarune for the first time again. But this time it was larger and so much more grand, and there was so many more people, like, putting their hearts and their souls into it. And it just really struck a chord with me. My favorite kind of art is the one where you can see the fingerprints of the people who made it just scattered all over it. I love being able to tell whenever, like, say, like, a project has, like, a team of writers, right? I love being able to tell whenever a joke made the writer's room laugh. I love being able to tell whenever, like, a plot point was pitched by a team member and everybody was like, you better write that down right now because we are doing that, and that is genius. Like, the idea of Toby and his team sitting down and proposing things like the mechanics, like, just completely switching up for certain boss fights, like Gerson's and the Knight and the Titans and stuff, just completely flipping it on its head, and everybody in the room, like, in this collective amount of passion and joy that they have for having created the story together, flipping out. It's like they're experiencing the story that they're creating for the first time. And you can see that everywhere. There's so much love baked into everything, like the musical motifs that pop up all over Deltarune, the amount of love and care that is put into Susie's story. Like, Deltarune, like, its characters in Chapter 1 in the Card Castle, I'm forgetting the name of the artist, and I do apologize. The card characters were not designed by Toby, they were designed by another artist that he just, like, adored the designs so much that he messaged them and was like, can I use these designs in my game? And they did give him permission. Deltarune is, like, the backwards work of an absolute fever dream that Toby had about the ending of a game one day. The hip shop boys, like the radio trio, they were all initially designed to be 3 different characters. Like, it was all supposed to be one person, right? But it was 3 different designs for one character. And Toby loved the designs that were made for him so much that he wanted to use all of them. So that's why we now have the radio trio. And Deltarune is a game that's bursting with love and bursting with care, and in an age where every single piece of mainstream media is just nostalgia bait and sequels and live-action remakes and just slop. It's slop. It is all just complete and utter slop. I cannot emphasize the amount of relief that I felt in playing Deltarune for the first time. It's a game that came to me at an absolute perfect time. It was calling to me for years, and I kept saying, no, not yet. I don't know if I'm interested, not yet. And I'm really, really glad that this time I finally listened to the call, because for a while it felt like, but nobody came. That's what it felt like, but nobody came. And I don't think that was it. I think Deltarune was sitting there for a very long time, just filled with this love and this inspiration that's completely packed into it, just waiting for me to pick it up, And, maybe that's a little, like, loosey-goosey of me or whatever, but it just... I feel like this game came to me at a very, very good time in my life. I wasn't having a good time, but... playing this game is the reason why I've been able to draw for fun again. It's made me sit down and think about, like, the value that I find in art and storytelling, and the value that I find in creating art and storytelling. And it's also reminded me that I can sit down and stop working on my comic for 5 minutes and go play a video game, or go read a book, or go watch a movie or something like that, and just recharge and gather inspiration. And maybe I'm not even looking to gather inspiration. Maybe I can just sit down and have some goddamn fun, And I really do owe Deltarune for that, like, a lot. a lot. And especially with my fellow workaholic artists, a lot of us do kind of tend to forget that we do need that recharge. We do need to, like, sit down and reconnect with what made art for us, because... it takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of thought, it takes a lot of love, it takes a lot of care, and if you're not giving yourself time to experience that yourself, to recharge energy, to, like, give yourself love, give yourself care and that kind of thing, making art, it's gonna be miserable. It's gonna be completely and utterly miserable. And something about seeing the joy that goes into creating the art that Toby and the game development team for Deltarune have for creating the damn thing, I thought to myself, well, why can't I have that? And that was a very strange thought, because it's not like it's a tangible thing that I can chase after, or that I can go buy. It's a thing that you kind of have to create internally for yourself. And it was difficult. My therapist has been getting a very large kick out of this, I won't lie to you. But it was a necessary thing for me to do, and I'm shortening the story, like, a lot. There were a lot of meltdowns, there were a lot of dramatic moments, there were several times where I've just considered giving up altogether. But I think now, more than ever, I'm prepared, I'm ready. I'm ready to go back and make this art and create all these things that I love and just keep going. And, maybe I won't succeed in the way that I wanted to. Maybe I won't ever be able to do art full-time or anything like that. There is a lot of luck that goes into it, which sucks, but it's not something that I have control over. And I think it'll be better for me to sit down and focus on the things that I can have control over. I can still draw my comics, I can sit down and draw funny Deltarune characters in my sketchbook, I can just have fun and experience joy, and stay determined. I don't know if any of what I've just said made sense. I guess I just wanted to make this to talk about why I've been gone for so long, and I am hoping to come back around again soon. I can't promise a consistent upload schedule or anything right now, but I'm so ready. I'm so ready to try again. I'm so ready to make the art that I love and share the things that I love about art with all of you. And regardless of who sees it, or how many people see it, or if anything even comes out of it, I'm just happy to be making it. And even if only one person watches this and finds some value in that, thank you. Thank you for being here. Seriously. I don't want to put the entire stake of, my ability to make art on the idea that even one person will see it, because at the end of the day, that one person could just be me. And it doesn't have to be somebody else, and that's fine with me. But, if you do sit down to watch this and listen to all of my rambling and that kind of thing, thank you. Thank you a lot. I do want to do a more in-depth analysis in Deltarune as a story in the future, because there is a lot that goes into Deltarune. There's a lot of love, there's a lot of passion, and there's a lot of genuine, really clever writing and hard work that goes into it too. But this video is mostly just meant to, talk about how it's impacted me as an artist and how it's really helped me come to a healthier point at my journey. I'm not there. I'm gonna be honest, I'm still in a somewhat unhealthy point. But I'm getting better, and it's been really, really nice. I hate myself a little less, and it's easier to draw now. And I do owe that, in part, to the fact that I finally sat down and I played Deltarune. And I'm so excited to see the next chapter. I'm so excited to see what Toby and the team does next. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching this, and I want to say thank you to Toby Fox and the entire development team for being with me in the dark. I'm hoping to make some more stuff in the future. If you're interested in seeing more of my art, you can always subscribe to this channel right here. You can also find me on Blue Sky and Tumblr, primarily Tumblr, with the username Toonbly, and maybe check out my webcomic, Tip the Ferryman. It's a paranormal mystery comic about cool dudes hunting down ghosts and powers that you get from being yourself. Yeah, I think I'm done rambling now. Thank you all for watching this, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.